Hello, listeners. This is Kat. Welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfic. This will be the continuation of All For You. This will be part 25, days 158 and 165. Day 158. There was many a day Hisashi thought he and Izuku would never make it to this occasion. Discharge day. Izuku was going home. It had hardly been a smooth journey, even after his fight with NEC. New problems cropped up, old problems reared their ugly heads, and he had to visit the surgical suite again and again and again. Izuku had more surgeries than Hisashi really wanted to remember, or count. Each and every one of them had been an utter nightmare. If Hisashi's hair hadn't naturally been white, it most definitely would have been by now. Though, thankfully, his last month or so in the NICU was just to make sure he gained enough weight to be discharged, and monitor his lung function. Hisashi had hoped that Izuku would be off oxygen by the time he went home, but considering Izuku's chances of coming home at all had at one point been in the single digits, he wasn't all that upset about it. After a small NICU graduation party, which was very emotional despite the fact that they would be back soon, Izuku was scheduled for another heart surgery before his first birthday. Hisashi stepped out of Tanima Memorial Hospital's doors with Izuku in a sling on his chest, and into the September air. Hisashi stopped, closing his eyes and taking a deep breath. Autumn and gasoline tinted the air, and a slight breeze tousled his hair like an old friend. The hustle and bustle of the city thrummed around them, filled with the sound of people talking, bike bells chiming, and cars honking. All Might huffed impatiently next to him, pushing the stroller full of their belongings, besides the more precious things kept in the baby bag at Hisashi's hip. Hisashi ignored him and looked down at Izuku. This was his first time outside. Izuku suckled on his pacifier, delicate brows furrowed in confusion. Soft green curls nodded as Izuku held his head up, still wobbly, but persistent. A cannula rested under his nose, and he was wearing a soft onesie with a tie printed on it. Mitsuki had presented it to him just days ago, saying that not only did such a special occasion require a fancy outfit, but also that Izuku should match his dad. It felt odd to wear a tie that wasn't tied by Inko. More than odd, really. It hurt. It was Inko's routine to fix his tie, since he was positively hopeless at doing it himself. When he realized he had a tie, and no Inko to tie it, he had been tempted to just not wear it. After all, it had been as usual for decades before Inko. He knew that even if he magically figured out how to tie the damn thing, it wouldn't be the same. But he also knew that Inko would have insisted he look his best on such an important occasion, so he had to try. Unsurprisingly, he had failed spectacularly, and Anda ended up fixing it. Pudgy hands gripped his shirt, and Hisashi chuckled when the wind blew in Izuku's face, causing his son to squint. The breeze passed, and his eyes widened comically as he spat out his pacifier. Izuku cooed, his hands gripping Hisashi's shirt again as his big blue eyes stared out at the same direction the wind had come from before. "Do you like the wind, Izuku?" Hisashi asked, bouncing him slightly. Izuku smiled, one hand leaving Hisashi's shirt for his mouth. Drool dribbled down his chin, darkening the little tie printed on his onesie. Hisashi huffed a laugh, wiping it away gently. "Midoriya," All Might prompted, sounding irritated. "Oh, hush you," Hisashi said, his eyes never leaving Izuku's face. "This is his first time outside. We can dally a little, can't we?" All Might huffed again, but said nothing. Hisashi's smile widened slightly. The wind came again, tousling Izuku's delicate curls. Izuku squinted again, looking in the direction of the wind. The breeze ceased. Izuku turned to him with a big smile on his face and cooed again. Hisashi grinned, chuckling softly. A car honked nearby. Izuku jumped, his smile disappearing. He whined, turning away from the loud sound and letting his head rest against Hisashi's chest. Hisashi tutted, placing a hand over his head and ears, and said, "It's all right, Izuku. City is just a little loud. You're okay." Izuku whined again. "Time to get going?" All Might asked dryly. Hisashi kissed the crown of Izuku's head and stepped forward. "Let's." All Might led the way to a very official-looking black car and gestured him forward sarcastically. Hisashi did not deign to give a response, instead focusing on taking Izuku out of the sling on his chest and putting him into the car seat. Once he had made sure all Izuku's straps were secure but comfortable, He slid into the back seat next to him and closed the door. Izuku was looking around the car with eyes blown wide, little mouth hanging open. Izashi's brows furrowed. He gently put Izuku's pacifier back in his mouth, which his son took easily. Thankfully, it was the kind that clipped to his onesie, so he didn't spit it out on the ground earlier. "What's got you so fascinated, Izashi asked, tucking a lock of curly hair behind a small ear. Izuku said nothing, simply suckled on his pacifier and looked around the car in curious silence. Izashi huffed, a smile curling on his face, and offered Izuku his finger. Izuku's hand wrapped around it immediately, finally big enough to wrap all the way around it. Izashi stroked Izuku's little hand with his thumb. His hand was still so small, but oh, he had grown so much at the same time. It was an odd dichotomy. Izashi leaned down and kissed Izuku's forehead while Izuku cooed happily. Soon enough, all might join them in the car, and their entourage jolted into motion. Izuku's grip on his hand increased for a moment, but it didn't take long at all for him to be lulled to sleep by the gentle motion of the car. It was an awful lot like rocking, he supposed. Izashi rubbed a finger against a chubby cheek while his son slept. He had never, not once, thought that this is how life would turn out. It would be a difficult adjustment, but that was okay. It was all for him. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, this is Inko Midoriya. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Beep. Hello, love. I think this is the first time I've really had the energy to be able to sit down and talk to you since moving in. Between unpacking and taking care of Izuku, I haven't really had much time. He keeps me busy, but Izuku's asleep in his bassinet, so I've been able to take a shower and get a little me time with you and a glass of wine. Or, well, sparkling juice. I don't really want to tempt anything, considering how my own parents were. A soft, tired chuckle. I swear, he must have a quirk that tells him whenever I'm resting. The instant I sit down or lie down to sleep, he's crying because he needs a diaper change, or a bottle, or is lonely. Not that we're ever really apart much. He doesn't like being set down, and I'm not particularly keen to put him down either. My therapist says that's something I need to work on, but, it can wait until I don't have to worry about SIDS anymore. Still, it's something, isn't it? Another chuckle. Me, with a therapist. I pity the poor bastard, truly, but it's a requirement of that rehab program I got into, so there's little I can do about it. They are at least helpful when it comes to parenting guidance. A sigh. Even though it's not our apartment, the house feels empty without you, love. It is a nice place, I suppose. Like that house with the yard I always talked about, if I wished for it on a monkey's paw. I'm not sure you would have liked it, though I did my best to decorate how you would have. With a little of my own touch, of course. A distant whine. Ah, there he goes. He's probably hungry. It's been a while since his last bottle. I'll try to talk again soon, love. Until next time, Inko. Call ended. All right, listeners, this concludes day 165. Day 173 will be next. I hope you all are still enjoying. Let me know your thoughts and reactions to everything so far, and as always, thank you so much for listening.